Guys, welcome to another episode of Clutch Entrepreneurs Podcast, episode number 5. Today we have a real estate entrepreneur and investor who has closed over 2,370 units in the past 6 years. Not a light number, all right? On his way to $1 billion in sales volume with a team of 23 agents. So he specializes in serving families with their real estate needs all across the globe. My guest, Scott Malouff.
JR, I appreciate you having me on today. Excited. San Antonio, Texas, that's where we live, yet we are able to service around the world. We are part of Keller Williams. We do have the number one team inside of the Keller Williams Heritage Office out of 1,300 agents. So thank you for having us today, JR, and let's get it.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, man. So for the people, for my audience that on YouTube and stuff who don't really know about the San Antonio market, can you kind of introduce yourself to them and what you do here?
Okay, so I've been in real estate. This is my 7th year in the business now. I started as an individual agent. First year, closed 85 transactions that year. And from there, grew the team to what we have today. Today, we have a team with an ISA team. We have transaction coordinators in the virtual world. So those are in the Philippines. We have listing agents, buyer specialists, and then we have teams inside of the team. We have a media company, and then we have a short-term rental management company as well as we have part ownership in the title company. And then we also do investments when it comes to development and flips and then buy and holds.
Nice, man. So in 6 years, you've created a lot of businesses within this business.
It's been a blessing, yeah. So we've done a lot. Before I was in real estate, I had some businesses that I sold off, and I learned a lot when it comes to building the business back then and what not to do and what to do. Mm-hmm. So from there, I've been able to help transition that into what we got today.
Gotcha. So for like people looking up to you, right? Real estate agents in the space, people that want to do what you do. Because like 6 years isn't that long in a business, right? Let's be honest. And you've came pretty much to the top of the business already within a very short time. What do you think is like attributes to help you get there so fast? Like what is it, some of the special skills you think it took to do that?
So language of sales is one of them. So like how you just said, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. We're always honest. Mm-hmm. So we never have to say, let's be honest in front of a sentence. No shots taken.
Always correcting me, man, but I'm learning. Let's go.
Yeah, we're big on wordplay when it comes to that. Also, it's consistency, character, confidence, making sure that you are who you say you are, your integrity. Mm-hmm. So integrity is a key component. Mm-hmm. And then caring about others. Once you start building the team, it's, I've told you this before, it's no longer about you, it's about them.
Yep.
Figuring out what's important to them and how you're going to help them achieve those goals and thinking bigger for them than they think about themselves. And that's one thing that we do in our organization is when somebody comes in, sometimes if they're thinking small, we have to see why they're thinking small. And if they're going to continue to think small, they're probably not a fit. Yet if they're thinking small and then have the opportunity for a growth mindset, then they're thinking big, then we push them to become who they're supposed to become in life.
I got you. So, because I notice every time we have a meeting or something, you always catch me saying something like, no, we don't try. For instance, right? Because what did I tell you today? Now we're trying to get into the realtor space. No, we don't try.
Yeah, we don't try.
Stuff like that. That's all mindset, right?
It's all mindset. It's also the language of sales. I mean, we don't use the word but. The word but negates what you said before. So if I'm like, I like your glasses, but you're like, but what? And then you start thinking something's coming next. Or if I'm like, well, I hope I'm going to see you later. Or I trust I'm going to see you later. It has a different mindset when you say it. Or even just the word busy. We don't use the word busy.
Yeah.
Because busy means chaos. We say we're productive. So if you tell somebody, oh, how was your day? It was busy. They're like, oh, he ain't got time for me. Or they're like, how was your day? It was productive. Okay, we still have the conversation.
Right.
So what you say matters.
Uh-huh. And so like as far as being a realtor and a broker and selling real estate, how important is it that you think picking the right brokerage? Because I know you've been with KW since the jump, right?
Yeah.
And you plan on sticking with them.
I do.
So what's the importance of that? Do you think that they were like a big help in like being able to scale the way you've been able to? Or?
They have been.
Yeah.
Training is very important. A lot of times people think the grass is greener on the other side and jump brokerage to brokerage to brokerage.
Yeah.
Yet when they get there, they do the same things. A lot of times actually their business dips because the culture of the organization they're at before actually was helping them get where they were going. And they don't realize that. And then they get into a different environment and realize that it's completely different than what they had. So like there's a lot of virtual real estate companies out there now, and those they work from home, they work on it through a computer. They're not around people, and that's one thing that's big about our team is we're in the office every day, and we live life together. We're not just in business together. So and that's the thing about building a family that's a business, because not everything's always going to be hey, how's it going? Da, da, da. There's times where we have to have hard conversations.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you grow.
Yeah.
We get paid to have the hard conversations. Yeah, that's how you really build a true team and a true culture that's going to be able to thrive.
I agree with that. So that's the same thing here. Like, there's a lot of wholesale companies, they do it virtually, but like, you just can't get that sales environment and that culture if you're not in the same building every day. It's just something about that.
Yeah, I feel that's a short-term game. If you're gonna work from home, and it's more of a, when you think of like the word ego, there's me-go and there's we-go. And you want to be in the we-go ego type world, because the me-go is all about me, 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 me. The we-go for that type of ego is we do it, we gonna grow.
Bars, dropping bars. All right, so Keller Williams, what is the benefit of being with them? Like, what is it that they provide? Do they like do trainings and stuff, or like what is it that they do?
Yeah, so like we just got back from Anaheim, California. Our team was on, so there was an event. They had 15,000 people at this event.
Damn.
And me personally, I was on 4 panels, and then 2 of the agents on in our organization was on 3 other panels. So being able to be on those type of platforms, we're able to get referrals and be part of a network of that many agents is huge, as well as being able to learn from others that are in other cities and they're building something similar to what we're building, and seeing what their failures are and what their wins are, and saying, okay, what can we R&D, rip off and duplicate? How can we take what they got in their business and put it into our business and execute? And that's how we're able to all win together as a company. Okay. We also have a close relationship with Gary Keller himself. I mean, he took our whole team to his ranch.
Is that the owner?
That's Gary Keller.
Dang.
The company started with Gary Keller and Joe Williams. Joe Williams was on the commercial side. Gary Keller was on the residential side, and then Gary bought Joe out in the 90s, and then from there we got what we got today.
Okay, and so just a quick question, because I'm not really like in the traditional space, but I see an up and coming one. It's called like EXP and Real. What do you see about those two?
They're great for what they got going. They're just not a fit for what we got going. They're virtual, so
they're one of those.
Yeah. So we were talking about earlier about being on an island, I feel you can lose the culture being part of those types of organization. Now I know Real, they're looking like their culture is going to be in a great place. Yet I just know what KW's built, and they're ripping off and duplicating some of what KW's already done with the EXP model.
Yeah, because I've seen like a lot of successful teams in Keller Williams, like a lot of successful teams.
It's the number 1 real estate company in the nation.
In the nation, right? Because like there used to be like, what was the other ones? There's like Coldwell Banker, and there's Remax.
Yeah.
But you don't hear about them no more.
KW's number 1.
That's all you hear about now.
KW's number 1.
I got you.
Across the board.
So let's talk about the market, man, because I know the last podcast we did, we were on fire.
Yeah.
And then it dipped a little bit, right? It dipped for everybody. And then where are you seeing now? Like seeing that you're on the market side.
We took a hit. I mean, 4th quarter of last year, my organization, we lost $300,000 because of the fixed expenses we have.
Dang.
Yeah, that's the plus of having reserves and being able to say, okay, we're gonna charge the storm. Like the Buffalo, we're gonna keep pushing through.
Yeah.
And we understand it's real estate. It's about a great career. It's not about a great year. And a lot of people just focus on the year and not your career. You're gonna have ups and you're gonna have downs. It's who you become through that process. And if you get through that storm, is what's gonna make you the man or woman you are in business.
I like that. So that's why we're all about here at Clutch, right? So behind you got the greats, and we got Ali over there, and that's all. Weathering the storms, right? If you want to be a champion, you got to go through it, right? You're not always going to be winning. It's not always a winning season.
I mean, that's what Ali talked about. Ali didn't start counting his push-ups till it started to hurt.
There you go.
So when things start to hurt, that's when he's like, okay, now it's time to play the game.
Yeah, I like that, because I mean, we took a hit too. And if any real estate organization tells you they didn't, they're liars. Yeah. They're lying, because everybody took a big hit. The market slowed down. Those interest rates slowed the whole market down. I mean, they did it on purpose, right? That's exactly what they were trying to do. But luckily, we have a good market, especially here in San Antonio with our home prices. So we're starting to see sales. We're starting to get back into it.
Yeah, we'll be healthy. I mean, we got the military bases that are definitely going to help us out with the growth of Austin, being at where they're at, almost double the price of us. We get a lot of their overflow, and then there's just businesses that continue to come to our area.
Yeah, and so do you like Austin?
I like San Antonio.
You like San Antonio?
Yeah.
Do you plan on going to Austin or no?
It's on our map. It's on our 5-year map. I'm still if I was to live somewhere, I'm picking San Antonio all day.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just talking about like business and listing.
Yeah, business wise, it's good.
It's good.
I love San Antonio as my city.
But like it's crazy, man, because like the inflation over there is wild. Like houses that are like should be 250 or like 600.
No, Josue on our team, he bought a flip out there, and he flipped it, listed it, got over 100,000. He made over 200K on one deal. I was like, man, that's it. That's a win. That's a home run. And he didn't even plan on making that much. He only planned on making about 70. The Austin market was just crazy.
He made $200,000
on one flip.
On one flip.
Yeah.
Dang. What was that, like a lead that came in? He's like, hey, I'll just scoop it.
The listing that we had, he picked it up before we listed it, and he just took the win.
Wow. So you were gonna list it for that price that he bought it for?
Yeah.
Damn. So y'all were putting up a layup.
We do that sometimes.
Yeah, you do. You've given me a few layups. Shout out Malouff Group.
Yeah.
So shout out Malouff Group, because like I know you've told me you don't really mess with wholesalers too much.
Yeah, I think y'all should be in prison for what y'all do.
All right, explain that.
I mean, y'all take advantage of a lot of people.
No, we don't take it. We help. But okay, give me a story. Give me an example.
Well, if you were to knock on my grandma's door,
Okay, 2 deals I don't do. I don't deal with mentally unstable people or older folks.
most people are mentally unstable. Majority of people have.
I give my IQ test before I put them on a contract. No, I'm just joking.
But you never know what people are going through, and you never know what people don't have the same education on the market as we do, and they might have been in that, say it was somebody that's not grandma, but it's somebody that's just been in the neighborhood for 30, 40 years. They don't know, they work 9 to 5, they're just chilling. They don't understand the real estate side of it.
Right.
And you knock on their door and you're like, hey, we'll give you cash. We'll give you cash for your home for $150,000. And they're like, $150,000 cash? Well, they live in check to check. They don't know no difference.
Yeah.
House been paid off. They got the house and an inheritance, had it for the last, there's generation to generation. And that house is actually market value at 200,000. And y'all say, okay, we're gonna give you 150. Y'all take that 150 contract, get it locked up, and then y'all go sell it for 200.
Dang, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, you just made $50,000. And that's the equity that
they could have had.
They
I got you. But see, it doesn't always go like that though, because usually if a house is worth 200, and we get it for 150, it needs a lot of work. Like it doesn't. It's never like let me just buy it and list it for 150. It's like, let me buy it for 130 and put 30 into it because it couldn't have passed inspection because the foundation was busted, and
I'm not saying the 200 is ARV.
Yeah,
I'm saying what you lock it up for is.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm saying it with it needing to be rehabbed.
Yeah.
It's worth 200.
I got you.
It's down there in San Antonio. Say it's down there by the Pearl.
Right.
And even with it needing to be rehabbed, it's you can get 200 for it.
Oh, okay. So usually that I don't really. So what I see personally is like, so if you list a property on the market, we're like right there selling it close to that and buying it for like a little bit under, but we're moving it a lot faster, right? So like let's just say like, so if you what's the the cycle? How many days? Like, do you think from when I put it under contract for a traditional listing?
It matters if we put an investment property up.
Yeah, for an investment property.
21 days.
Okay, 21 days?
Yeah.
From putting it on the market to closing?
Yeah.
Okay. So the ones I see, because we do a lot of deals on MLS, they're usually sitting for like, what we see personally, I'm saying what we see from our angle, we see them sitting for like 40, 50, 60 days, and then they'll accept our offer, and usually they listed it too high.
It's overpriced.
It's overpriced.
Listing. If we ain't got an offer within the first 14 days, we're overpriced.
Right. And that's what I usually see. And then they end up taking the lower offer anywhere where we would have been at, very close to and then if you put the equation of the 6% plus closing costs and everything, it's actually the same offer, like what I've seen personally. But I do get it because I've seen people rip people off.
I've seen a lot of.
I've seen it too. No, I've seen it too. It's the Wild Wild West.
Bragging on Facebook, just made $300,000 on this deal.
It's the Wild Wild West.
I'm like, dang.
It is, but like us as a company, we're trying to go in the long term and we take care of people. But there's different. I could see how there's no regulations.
I'm just saying, if say it was grandma,
yeah,
and if it was my grandma, and y'all took $50,000, you got to sleep with an eye open. At the end of
no,
the
I
day.
get it. But I'm just saying, there's immoral wholesalers, and then there's ones that do a good job. Like, so the way we're growing, the way we want to grow, if we ever screwed over one person, we can't stay in business. So we want to be in here for forever. So I got to make sure we take care of everybody. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, there's no regulations though. So you can be a slime ball and you can be ripping people off left and right, and nobody would know because there's no licensing, there's no nothing.
And that's why they're wholesalers.
Yeah. But so we're the good guys, if you're watching this. So come mess with us. We got you. That's why Malouff messes with us only, because we only.
Y'all should change your name from wholesalers to investors. That way, it's just not.
I don't say I'm a wholesaler.
Okay.
I say I don't, because it has a bag.
So you do have investment group under. That's good.
Yeah, we're investors. That's what we are, though. You know, you're an investor too, right?
I'm an investor, not a wholesaler. I don't wholesale. I invest. I buy things at
At a great price.
if it makes sense.
Yeah, but what if it was a great price, but that was somebody's grandma? You still buy it?
I give them a fair price.
You're not gonna give them more than they're asking.
I'm not out here taking grand slams on them.
Yeah. No, but you get it. Because we're both investors, right? We want the best deals as possible. Are you investing right now?
Of course.
You're investing. What are you mostly investing in right now?
Right now, short-term rentals, because we started our short-term rental management company, and we're building that. So being able to buy those, we already have everything on the back end to scale that.
Okay.
My goal with that is to continue to build my personal portfolio when it comes to that, and then figure out the cap rate on 10 of them, and then sell them as a package portfolio deal. Once I show at least 2 years of revenue from it.
Damn, how does that work? So do you think you'd be able to sell for more than the actual value of the house because it's a business?
Yeah, that's my goal on it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
Is being able to show what the cash flow is and what the cap rate is, and just saying you got these 10 properties that are already furnished, everything. When it comes down to it, it's going to be more of a commercial sale, and I believe that those will help certain neighborhoods actually get a higher sales for those deals.
Man, I never heard of that before. So you're actually you're gonna actually turn houses into businesses and sell them like a business.
That's the goal.
That's wild. That's the first time I heard that. So do you think, because San Antonio, like, it has a lot of room for growth, like appreciation wise, if we're gonna go anywhere in the direction of Austin, we're a baby. Like, man, if we go, like, you can get really rich holding on to houses here in the next 20 years.
I keep buying land, buy dirt. That's what I would I'd continue to do that too. Just buy land and hold on to it. And then continue to just buy what you can and don't sell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I just continue to buy, not sell. Put the money away and just continue to build it.
So how does that work? Because I'm doing my first Airbnb, and I've never done an Airbnb before.
That's why you need a management company.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What does that management company do? Like,
we do. I mean, as far as the cleaning side, we do that. We work with price labs to make sure we get the price corrected and make sure you get the most per stay.
Okay.
That's a good thing about working with somebody local, because we know when Fiesta is, we know when spring break, we know when the rodeo is, we know when things are going on in the city that are going to be able to get you a higher dollar amount than somebody that just, from Minnesota and they're running the Airbnb. So there's different Airbnb management companies around the states. Yet it's good to work with somebody local on that end. We work with the cleaning staff. We work with the maintenance people. So if something goes wrong with the property, we send somebody out there to make sure get it done right. We have a design company that will come in and design your property as well. So we have that for the staging. So if you need that, that's another thing that we do on our end. The marketing side, we do a lot with the marketing. So say your house is by the Pearl. We have 7 different restaurants that we've already talked to that will, for our clients that stay at our Airbnbs, they get a free appetizer at this restaurant. They get a free drink at this bar. They get certain things as incentives of staying at our Airbnb. So those are different things that we do, as well as just everything else on a property management would do.
Man, that's a lot. And how much do you charge? Or like can you talk about that? Like
20%.
20%.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? So 20% of the gross of their month, or
after cleaning fees. So cleaning fees and Airbnb fees come off top, and then after that, we take 20% of what's left. And we're on Airbnb, Booking.com, and VRBO, and then we do direct booking.
Oh, okay. Damn, okay. So basically it's like turnkey. Like they give you the house, you furnish it. I mean, they're gonna pay for it, obviously, but you'll design it, furnish it, and then take care of it.
One-stop shop.
Oh, that's cool. I never heard of that one either. So what because I'm barely starting, so I got a lot of questions on Airbnb actually. You have some already?
Yeah.
So like, is there certain parts of town that you wouldn't Airbnb or?
They're all doing pretty good right now, because we have some by the airport, some by SeaWorld. Those do great, especially with the military. I'm actually flipping one right now that I bought by SeaWorld to make it in a military house, where one room is going to have the Air Force theme, one room is going to have the Army theme, and one room is going to have a Navy theme. So Catherine actually helped me get that house. And then I have a lot of them downtown. So I have 2 by the Pearl that I own, and then 1 in Menke Park that I own, and then we have a lot that we manage down there too.
Because those every part of town you just said, those are good areas.
Yeah, I would. We have one that we manage in the West Side, and the West Side doesn't do as great, like the Deep West, like Kennedy Memorial area.
Yeah.
So I'd probably stick a little bit away from there right now.
Okay.
Those are good to do for long-term rentals. I own a triplex on Navidash Street on the West Side, and that one does. I mean, that one does great.
Because you've told me before you're a fan of the West Side. Like you buy a lot of land over there and stuff, right?
Lots.
What do you see on the West Side of town?
I see the West Side is going to, in the next 5 years, I think it will triple in value.
Really? Yeah, it has the most room for growth. I like the West Side too because I can get them really good prices. But there are a lot of older homes, and the bad thing is like I think the zoning and stuff and the development of the West Side is kind of bad.
Majority of the houses are zoned MF33 on the West
I've seen
Side.
that.
Yeah.
I have one because I wasn't like when I was buying, I was never really checking for MF33. But I'm starting to look at some of the houses I have, and they're MF33, and I'm like, I mean, you couldn't build nothing on it, but it's still good to have that zoning.
If you look at the East Side 5 years ago and where they're at, it's kind of where the West Side is right now. Actually, probably the East Side is probably 4 years. The West Side is about 4 years behind where the East Side was.
Really?
And I'm talking about like Dignity area, yeah.
Damn, we might have to edit this part of the vlog, man. We can't be letting people know this.
Oh, come on.
Come on, it's gonna be Malouff and Clutch on the West Side buying up all the blocks.
You can give them they got to actually do it though.
That's the hard part. You know what I've noticed that, man. So like, me and you, we're action takers, obviously, right? Like if I say I'm gonna do a podcast, I'm gonna probably call you in a few weeks and be, hey, you ready? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? That type of action. And a lot of people I know, because let's be honest, man, all the game is out there.
Yeah.
But people want to be like, hold their hand or be told what to do or this and that. But like, guys, we live in 2023. We got YouTube and Google. You can literally search anything that you want to learn and learn, like visualization, actual how-to manual, like literally.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think? Why do you think most people just don't do it?
Knowledge ain't nothing without the action behind it.
Yeah.
So if you ain't taking action behind what you learn, it's just a waste of classes, a waste of learning. You got to actually be like Nike and just do it.
Just like Nike. Shout out Nike. Have you heard the story of Nike?
Tell me the story of Nike.
And I mean, I can't go over the whole story, but man, it's Nike started like it wasn't like a big funded company. Phil Knight started this company by himself with like a $600 loan from his dad. There's a book called Shoe Dog. It talks all about it. He was actually a student at Oregon. He was a track runner, and the shoes sucked. And one of their projects for Oregon was talking about a business venture. And he was in track, and so he had an idea. There was shoes they were selling in Japan, I think it was. Don't quote me like word for word because I haven't read the book in like 4 years, but it's an amazing story. I think everybody should. Shoe Dog. I listened to it. It's a long book. Right, cool. And so the dude found out they were selling tigers for like, I want to say, don't quote me on the prices and all that, but I'm going to give you the gist of it, right? So he was getting it for like $60 over there. He used all his money to take a flight out and back and meet with the president of this shoe company, Tiger. They still exist today, by the way. Mm-hmm. And he convinced them that he was somebody and that he wanted shoes on consignment, right? So they gave him like, I don't know, 1,000 shoes or something and payments. And he opened up a little shop. It was called Blue Ribbon. And so he would take the Nike shoes and rebrand them Blue Ribbon and just started coming up little by little by little by little. And the turning point was when they signed Michael Jordan. I mean, obviously, this is 10 years later. Lots of struggles, almost shutting down the company. It's a great book, but when they signed Michael Jordan was the end of it because it was always Adidas and Puma and Converse. Yeah. Nike was nothing. And they actually paid some college girl like $60 to come up with the logo. It's a weird logo if you think about it, just that little Nike check. Yeah. But it's a good book. It's called Shoe Dog. You got to read it because, I mean, that's one of the biggest, greatest companies ever created, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out Nike. But yeah, man, so we talk about the Airbnbs and stuff. I got to probably talk with you about that because I'm going to do my first one. So do houses with pools do better or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because my house gets a pool in it, and I'm kind of scared about it, though, because do you need, like, special, like...
Well, you got to get the insurance. So, like, if you talk to your insurance provider, there's a certain insurance you get for short-term rentals. It's not the same house insurance that you would have for just a normal...
Oh, it's separate?
They have a different policy.
Do you have to have both?
No.
Oh, it's just one insurance?
One covers it all. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can it be like under your name or that doesn't matter?
I'd probably do it under LLC.
Yeah?
Just in case something happens, you don't want to be sued.
Cool, man. Let's talk about any past failures, man. Have you ever had any like failures in your career? Or maybe not. Has there been any moment, man, where you came into a fork in the road and it was just like you had to make a decision, man. And if you know that's what got you here.
Yeah. So when it comes to the word failure, it's either you learn or you win. So I look at failing as learning. You know, fail stands for first attempt I learned.
Mm-hmm.
So in my past, there's been a lot of learning opportunities, and we continue to go through them. There's been you know, hardships where, you know, lose family members. You know, lost my mom, lost my grandpa. So those type of things, those are different type of failures that you can end up in victimhood very easily. Yet when you're victorious, no matter what situation hits you, that's how you're able to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as in business, we're always, you know, breaking things and then rebuilding. So it's like, okay, that didn't work. This didn't work. What are we going to do next?
Mm-hmm.
And then we break systems and rebuild the systems.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been bad hires that we've made. So there's been some hires that we made that I was like, you know, that person should have been part of our organization. And in time, the right people leave, and then the right people come. So I know that a lot of times when people leave, people focus on the rear view mirror, on what happened in the past, and not on the windshield, on what's going to happen in the future. And, you know, if you look at the windshield, it's a lot bigger than that rear view mirror. And we need to focus on the windshield about what's happening in the future for yourself, for your organization, for your people. So as far as failures, the big one, I think what the biggest would be, I think this last year, just that financial side. I mean, taking those hits, because that's when you take a $300,000 hit within 3 months. I mean, at the beginning of 2022, living life, going to Vegas, went to Lebanon twice, went to Vegas 5 times. Then I went to Lebanon twice, just living crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't expect it. And then, boom, the market hits. And you're like, whoa. And then you have, in leadership position, especially in ours, we have a lot of fixed expenses. And nobody else is going to pay those expenses except for me,
the leader.
So at the end, I'm like, okay, so how am I going to allocate this money to put this here? And then I'm starting to move things around.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, luckily we have the reserves to do that. Yet I've seen a lot of other teams and businesses around the country where they're getting picked up by a lot of the other bigger companies. And they're coming in and buying them out and taking them out. So we're going to be able to survive through it. Yet I should have been a better steward of my money in the beginning of 2022 and into 2021.
Yeah. So have you learned something from that? What have you learned? So like from that lesson?
Invest more in people, invest more in real estate, invest more in building. So, you know, I feel real estate is it's a platform, and it's a platform that's going to help you build what actually brings you joy. So it's not that, you know, I'm going to be a real estate agent for the next 20, 30 years. I feel this is going to be able to help me build the money to be able to invest in things that actually bring me joy. Mm-hmm. If it's real estate development, or if it's in a business that somebody else in our organization has a passion about. Like if somebody say on our teams, like, you know what, my goal is to do this for the next 5 years and open a coffee shop. Mm-hmm. Well, let's figure out what that's going to look like and how we can partner and be able to do that. So those are the type of things that that my focus is as far as moving forward, what I need to do with the finances I get. It's because I can go to Vegas and that's just a temporary moment. Mm-hmm. Like that's a temporary moment. On that roulette table, that's a temporary moment, temporary high. Yet being able to invest in somebody, that's a long term. And that's when people like, you know what, he put $20,000-$30,000 into this business. He put $100,000 into being able to help me build this. Mm-hmm. And then that's when you build that long term loyalty with somebody too.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And so like speaking of that, like you're talking about, you know, the hiring the right people and the right people leaving, the right people coming. When you're hiring, how do you know when it's the right person?
The word gut stands for give up thinking. So you have that gut feeling. You're like, you know, this person, I could see myself working with this person for the next 20, 30 years. Yet when you're hiring and you're going through the interview process, if it's not a hell yeah, it should be a hell no. Because you will know within the first 90 days if that was the right person you brought on. Mm-hmm. If you see someone that's just negative, that complains a lot, like we have a 5-step process when we bring somebody on. Mm-hmm. We meet with them, we go over the vision of the team, what the organization is going to look like in the next 5 years. Green light past that, we send them a disc profile and a KPA. These are personality assessments. Whoever the mentor on the team and our director of operations, go over that with them. Green light past that, our team does an interview on them. So we have 6 agents on our team, interview them to make sure they fit the culture of our team. When you have any blind spots, green light past that. We go over their life story, see if there's any like they jump from here to here to here. Oh, this place, but yeah, it didn't work because of it. Like if there's a lot of complaining or a lot of victimhood on there, we're like, yeah, it ain't it. Green light past that, we give them an offer to join the team. So we just we say no a lot more than we say yeah for people that come on.
Really? So you said 5? There's 5 interviews or
five interviews.
5 interviews. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's actually, I've never heard of that one either. So they go through your team too to make sure they fit the culture.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And there's a lot. That's probably where the most people get knocked down is the team interview.
Really?
Like, it was a no, and then I'm like, well, maybe next time.
You get a lot. I bet you get a lot of referrals, right? People wanting to join the team.
There's a lot because we put a lot through our media side. Shout out Connor. We put a lot through our media side, and that's how we tell our story. So when we tell our story, it attracts people. Talent attracts talent. And when people see talented people that are out there doing it each and every day, they're like, I want to be part of what they got going. And then they come, they interview, and then a lot of times, if they're a fit, then they're going to grow and thrive with us. Yet if they're not a fit, then we talk to them about other opportunities. And then if they come into the organization and they're not a fit, then we talk to them about other opportunities. We don't fire people. We just talk to them about other opportunities.
I got you. I'm the same way too. What does leadership mean to you? You're a leader of your organization. You're at the top of your game. You took your organization to the top. What do you think that means to you?
So true leaders don't develop followers; they develop more leaders. And the question is, how are you leading others to become leaders? And what conversations are you having with them to have them think bigger about themselves? So when it comes to leadership, you have to dive in deep with your people and see what their gifts are, because everybody has a different gift, and it's figuring out how you're going to help them utilize their gifts so they can be living at their top. So each person is different in having that instinct of, okay, this person, this is where they're going to shine. This person, this is going to shine here. So that's just it's a skill that you learn over time. The more people you know, the more you'll learn about how personalities are, and then the more you know about different personalities, you'll be able to know how you can help that person become who they can with that personality they have.
So that's like emotional intelligence, right? Just being able to like read people, their personalities, and then being able to put them in the best position for them to win.
Correct.
That's what I call it. Like, so it's kind of just being like the coach, right? Like you're the coach. You're calling the plays, and you're putting everybody in position to win.
You're the coach. You're the. I mean, you do a lot of therapy with people. I mean, there's a lot you got to deal with when it comes to it. Because in leadership too, you got to know when to have grace, and when you need to actually be on them. Because grace can also be a hindrance if too much grace. So
Facts.
You want to make sure that you're knowing people, because again, life happens, and when life happens, you don't know what's actually going on in that person's life. You might be being hard on somebody, but they might have just lost somebody in their family that passed away that you don't even know about.
Right.
Because you don't dive in deep into know and understand their life, or they might be pregnant, or there might be things going on that you don't know.
Yeah.
Yet if you come straight from judgment and not curiosity, that's when you end up in those situations. You should always come from curiosity and ask questions. Are you okay? Is everything, what's going on? How can I help you? Is there anything I'm doing that I should be doing?
Yeah.
Just learning to understand.
Yeah, and so like, it's such a different like being in the position you're in, right? So you're the leader of a group, right? You're not just like you're not just an agent. You're a leader. You have agents under you that you're leading the group to a lot of listings, right? You're doing volume. You're doing numbers. Same thing for me. Like, I'm not a wholesaler or an investor. I'm leading a group, right? To do a lot of volume. And so people they underestimate the difference that is between being like a good agent and a good leader of a group, because it's like a whole different skill set.
Yeah.
Because you can be an awesome agent, right? Top number one, getting all these listings every month, but then they try to be a leader and put a group together and make the whole group shine. Bro, what's the difference in that?
That's a different skill.
It's a whole different thing.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Because we know some agents in our industry that kill it. I mean, they're great, except for with people underneath them. And a lot of that's also, we'll go back to ego. Ego stands for eliminate growth opportunity. And when they build that team, they're like, it's still about me. It's about me. It's only about me. But it's not about you. And that's one thing that ends up being a dismantle of a lot of teams is because they think it's about them and not their people.
Right.
And when you realize it's about my people and not about me, that's when your team starts to win. So we're called a group, yet we're a team, and the word team stands together, everyone achieves more. So when you're a team, everybody's winning. And everybody wins in a different way. Sometimes people win in financial ways, and sometimes people win in just, the way they're able to live life, or just a mental way, or their mindset shift. So, and that comes down to your mission. When you're building an organization, what's your team's mission? Our team's mission is to influence people in all aspects of life while pursuing their God-given gifts and creating everlasting relationships that will impact them forever. So when somebody knows our mission and knows our cause and why we do what we do, that's when they grasp on. They're like, we're with it. We're gonna ride with y'all. Mm-hmm. And then we just don't sell. We also, we do our annual backpack giveaway. We gave away 1,000 backpacks last year. We rented a trampoline park. We had a lot of people involved in it, and we're going to continue to do that. We teamed up Big Brothers Big Sisters, and then every month we do what's called Single Mother Mondays with Malouff. I was raised by a single mom, and being able to give back to them is a great thing. Just to see what we do is we give them a care package, and in that care package we have a $250 HEB gift card. We have a $100 gas card. We have a massage card. We have a night out at the trampoline park. We have a movie night, and then we give them $1,000 cash to use towards their rent or mortgage. So, being able to do that once a month also. So when people see that you're involved with the community and you give back, that's when people, relate with you. The word relationship, in the beginning there's the word relate. Mm-hmm. And how are you relating? How are you relating with your people? How are you relating with the community? How are you relating with your clients? That's how you win.
And that right there is like the definition of leadership, all that you just said, right? Because you got to lead by example, and you got to put people first. That's what makes a great leader. That's the difference between a boss and a leader. A boss to me is just somebody like, it's all about them. Yeah. It's their ego. A leader is somebody you want to follow. Yeah. All right. But why do you want to follow them? Because you feel like they have your best. They have your best interests, right? Like you really care. And but yeah, going back to that point, man. Like, because I just. Some people think it's so easy to make teams and stuff because they think they're good at sales and they're really good at what they do. But I'm like, man, just try it. That's all I gotta say. Just do it, and you'll see. Because
the gift of gab can only get you so far.
Right.
You're gonna hit that ceiling.
Yeah, well, because that's sales. Yeah. Right, because you're a good salesman.
It's the difference between selling and serving.
Oof. Yeah. Explain that.
So you sell, they hear the commission breath, or they know it's like you could be like the Wolf of Wall Street, just come in there, hammer it, and you killing it.
Yeah.
Serving is you're coming from a place of your heart is in the right place, and that comes down to integrity. Yeah. And what is your integrity? Are you living your life the same way inside and outside of the office? If somebody was to follow you, and from say 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., are you living what you say? Is your audio matching your video? And that's what a lot of people don't live that life.
That's integrity right there.
Yeah, they show up and they say one thing, and then when they go home, they're a whole different person.
Oh, yeah. And you know what, though? The truth always comes to light. Mm-hmm. Who you are will always come out.
That's true.
And so it's all a matter of time because we're in a marathon right now in business, right? Like the truth will come out. The ones who are really going hard, the ones who are really working with integrity, they're going to be the ones at the end of the marathon.
And that's why reputation matters, too. Like, who you do wrong, it will come back. Mm-hmm. It'll come back. You might not come back immediately. Yeah. And eventually that'll be exposed. And when it's exposed, that's when it's damn, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. And you know what? That's one thing I always preach on my team because let's be honest, in real estate and anything.
We're always honest.
Yeah. We're always honest, right? Because you can always, there's so many ways that people try to like make an extra buck. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, what happens you're just trying to make $1 right now, but we're trying to make $1 forever. Like, you know what I mean? And like, so that's in real estate or in any business, guys, always do the right thing. It will always pay you 10x, I promise. You might not make the most right now, but it will come back to you.
And there might be times where you have to give up the money you're making to do the right thing. Yeah. Because some things happen out of your control. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was in your control and you just were so productive that you missed it. And now you have to pay for what you did.
Exactly. Because you're always going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And you're going to pay more in the long run. So that's one thing I learned about myself because I was actually a contractor before I was in real estate. And that's the number one way people get burned by contractors. You could burn people so fast, and I never did one person dirty. But you know what? That's what got me to investing, because I got everybody's trust, the investors. They open doors.
So like when it comes back to like that, like doing the right thing. So like one of the Airbnbs that I own and manage, this last week the fridge went out. The fridge went out. They went about $300 worth of food. Had the receipt for $300 worth of food. So what I had to do is I had to go buy a new fridge, and I had to give them $300 to buy more food.
Yeah.
Now the stay, when it came to the stay, I was only making $500 on the stay. So I took over 50% of what I would have made just to do the right thing.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people won't do that. They're like, oh, the food, hey,
That's not on me.
that's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but yeah, little things like that, they count. But that just shows your character, right? Because like if what you do in the little situations, what you do in the big situations, right? That's who you are.
And that's how money is too. You know, money doesn't change somebody. Money just shows who they really are.
That's facts. That's facts. Because if you're a miserable person, you're gonna be even more miserable with money. I promise that. Money don't solve nothing but your bills.
Yeah, it exposes you.
Get you a little nicer car and stuff. That's about it. But yeah, man. So I know in your business, y'all do a lot of trainings. Yeah. How important is that in the business? Because like that's what we need to step our game up on. Like especially KW as a culture, I think that's what they do best, right? That's what you hear about, the trainings. Like how often do you train your people?
We train every week.
Every week?
We spend over $200,000 a year in coaching.
Wow.
So I mean, we're invested. The best investment you can make is in yourself. So the second best investment is in earth. When you invest in yourself, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, how will other people invest in you? How can you expect other people to invest in you? People come into real estate and they spend about $3,000 to get their real estate license, and you have the opportunity to make more than people that spent $300,000 to get a degree. Yet you're like, oh, I'm not going to pay for this class or that class. People pay 10 years they go to school, $300,000 just to make what you gonna make in the first year. And you don't want to spend a little money to educate yourself. It's crazy, but that's why they don't last. That's why we have such a high failure rate. 90% of people are out of our business within the first 3 years because they don't invest in themselves. They don't invest in their education, or they don't have that hunger, that hustle inside of them. They see things on TV and they're like, oh, that I could do that, until they get in the jungle and it's time to hunt.
Or they're not being honest.
Yeah.
That too. So, but hold on. You say you spend $200,000 on education?
We do
in a year
in our organization. Yeah.
What? Explain that. What does that look like? 200 grand.
We have group coaching. So we have in our organization, when somebody comes in, they're in emergent agent coaching. Then we graduate them to proven agent coaching. 2 different coachings. One's with Voice of One with Steve Collins. Proven agent coaching with Tom Ferry and their group. So everyone on the team is in some type of group coaching. Then when you graduate from there, you go into one-on-one coaching with MAPS, which is a Keller Williams program. And we have 9 people that are in MAPS, which is a one-on-one coach that they have. So I have one, our ISA department has one, our director of operations has one when it comes to our one-on-one coaches. And then some of the top agents on our team have some as well. So those are the rest of the contracts.
And like the organization takes care of all that?
Yeah, well, so it goes 4 tiers. I take care of the group coaching. When they get in one-on-one coaching for a certain tier, I pay for 50% of it. The next tier, I pay for all of it. So when it comes to the organization, we're spending around $200,000, and that includes, like, there's a class called Bold Business Objective Life by Design that comes through the city about twice a year. And that teaches you a lot on mindset as well as strategies. So it's a 7-week course. And then there's another class we take called Brian Buffini Peak Producers. That class teaches you how to run a database, how to do business mixers, how to do client appreciation parties, how to just do things on a large scale. And then we go through trainings. Like we were just at that training in Anaheim, which is a 5-day training. Now we were on 7 panels. Yet there was panels. It's like you're back in college. People bouncing around, going to class, and that's another training. And then we go to another thing called Mega Camp, Spring Mastermind, Fall Mastermind. There's training never stops. And then we train our people. The Keller Williams. There's a lot of training you can do. That's kind of like an umbrella. Like there's an umbrella worth of knowledge that you're going to continue to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then when someone comes into our organization, we have our shotgun training too. So we teach them a lot about what we do, the scripts that we have, what's our value proposition, what makes us different than working with just any other agent.
Mm-hmm.
So we have those type of scripts that when we call somebody, they understand, you know, we're the number one team inside of the number one brokerage in the city, and being able to understand, you know, throwing out our numbers out there and what we do as far as twilight photos compared to regular photos. It's just small things that we talk about through our vocabulary to explain to sellers and buyers. On the buyer side, we have a PowerPoint presentation that takes about 30 minutes to go through for someone looking to buy a house. And, you know, a lot of people that are working with buyers, they just get a buyer's rep sign on the trunk of a car. We actually sit down and go over what the process is going to look like for them.
Yeah, I've seen it. You showed me, like, when I went to your office, you had, what was it called, like Malouff University?
Yeah, Malouff U is another, that's a training that we create for agents, because anything that's done more than once should turn into a system.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody joins our organization and they're like, how do I do a CMA? Well, go to Malouff University. There's a video on how to do it. Because for me to sit down and say we bring on 3 to 4 agents per month, if I'm sitting down with every time, it can be done differently. And, and you got to create it into a system. So that's a system that we have for how to do mega open houses, how to do for sale by owners, how to call expires, how to do absentees. Like, we have trainings for all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's super important too. As far as those trainings, like, just real quick, can anybody do them, or like if you're licensed, or you gotta be part of KW, or like the ones that you were saying about the events or something like that?
I mean,
those
anyone could go. They had to pay for it.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to be part of KW.
You don't have to.
Man, I gotta go to that one.
Because what's gonna happen is they're gonna go to it, and then they're gonna drink the Kool-Aid, and then they're gonna end up joining KW.
I can't join KW though. I'm like an outlaw. They'll be like, nah, we don't want you.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy. Nah, I'm just joking.
You're a liability because of
So what have you ever looked into, like, what are some of your favorite books?
Tribe of Mentors. That's a great book. When it comes to like the language of sales, exactly what to say. It's a great book. The One Thing is a great book. MREA has always been a great book.
What was that one?
MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Oh,
and there's also Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Okay.
The book that we've been focused on lately is a 12-week year because of how the market has shifted. So we're back into the 12-week year. Story Brand talks about how to run your business and create a story around it. That's a great book.
So you're on so all those books are like business, sales, type. Are you into mindset books or mindset type stuff?
I mean, the power of one more.
Who wrote that one?
Ed
Milet.
Yeah.
Oh, that book came out.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta read that one. That was good.
So yeah, he's great. He was actually just at the Keller Williams.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the keynote speakers.
Man, that dude can speak. He'll move your emotions.
Yeah, I mean, crying.
Yeah, dude, me too. I saw him. That dude, he had everybody crying though, the whole audience.
Yeah, same with ours. And our story is similar to a lot of the stuff that he, went through and things that he was just dealing with. So I related. I had a lot of empathy on what he was talking about.
What do you think about like mindset, as far, like, have you ever read like Think and Grow Rich, those type of books? Do you believe in that?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the things?
Outliers. I mean, I think. I mean, a lot of that. I think that what you think is really what you become.
Right.
And what you focus on expands. So when you focus on becoming this person, and you should put that in front of you. The power of I am. I am this. Saying those affirmations.
Yeah.
That is important. Like when I drive my son to school, I've been saying the same thing from him since he was in first grade to now. Like, what kind of worker are you? I am a hard worker. Who you gonna listen to? I'm gonna listen to my teachers. What kind of grades you get? I'm gonna get A+. Those are the type of conversations we have on the way to school every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Same conversation every day.
Same conversation.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So you're teaching them all the things you've learned. What
he probably doesn't appreciate it right now.
No, not yet.
Just one day
he will.
And now sometimes on the way to school, he's like,
Can we put on some music?
Yeah. Puts his headphones on. He's like, time for this.
Yeah.
He'll be good though.
But who are some of like the people you look up to, mentors?
I've had a lot of mentors on my journey. So, I was in high school. My whole life I've had my mom and my Jitty and which is my grandpa, and my City, which is my grandma, and then my Uncle Steve. All my uncles been always kind of there for me because I never met my dad. So those have been people that have always been there for me as far as, mentors family wise. And then when I was in high school, I started doing, team parties when I was 12 years old. So Abe and Hannock and JoJo, they were part of that, growth from when I was about 12 to 18. And then I was 18, K-Rock came in my life. K-Rock was always a good guy that kind of helped navigate me. And then from there, when I got into real estate, there's been Steve Collins, Craig Owen, and then, when I got into maps, Jordan Freed, and then Gary Keller, somebody that we're close with now. And then the agents on our team, we were all mentors towards each other. So, when I was in the club, nightlife, before real estate, that I had a circle, and we would help each other. We would roll together and do everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I moved into this world, now it's like I have another tribe. Yet I've always had love for both tribes, and that's why Gary talks about it too. Like in leadership, there's two types of leaders, and there's some leaders that are feared, and there's some leaders that are loved. And I'd rather be loved every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd rather be loved by my people, and there's still a little bit of fear that needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yet love is like when they know I got love for them and they got love for me, we gonna conquer the world.
Yeah.
And I feel in both worlds and both seasons of my life, there's been so much love that we would do anything for each other. We bury the body if we had to.
That's where you get that real loyalty, though. That real, family type deal. When it's love, you know what I mean? True caring for each other.
And for a lot of us, this is our family. We're around each other more than we're around our blood.
Mm-hmm.
And we live life more than we do with some of our actual blood. We have our core family, some, their moms, their dads, like,
Mm-hmm.
your kids. Yet, there's so much love that we have for each other that if something was to happen, we would be like that. And we're going to jump when they say jump, and we're just going to ride together.
And that's one thing too I've seen about y'all. You've created a really good culture. Like I see y'all going to New York, y'all go to Cancun, y'all go like trips all over the nation, all over the world. And I'm like, that's super cool. That's part of building your culture, huh?
Is being able to create those experiences too. There's people I grew up with that never left the neighborhood they grew up in, and they think that's the world. They don't think long. They don't think farther than about a 5-mile radius.
Right.
And they haven't experienced things like New York or Mexico. They haven't been able to experience it. And when people join an organization and they haven't left the city, it's like, man, there's so much out there that you got to learn. And that's really how you educate yourself. And that's how you become more cultured. And that's how you just, your conversations become different with people when you can relate. And they're like, oh, I'm from here. Oh, I've been there before. And you say what you remember when you were there. And that breaks the ice.
Uh-huh. So like, that's a big part of your culture building process. That I think honestly, the culture that you've created and culture in general in creating a business is the most important thing to actually sustain it.
It's the foundation.
Right. So what are some other things that you do to kind of build culture that you give some tips on?
Again, community involvement. We went back to that. So our team trips are not just about, going to New York to just party.
Yeah.
It's being able to relate with people in a different environment and see how they live. And then, back to before I was in real estate, remember I was in the club thing. So I've done events my whole life, and being able to put that into what we do with our clients and our agents. We do, our big Christmas party at the end of the year that you were involved in this last year.
Popping.
And, we had, close to 1,500 people there. And we brought down Bobby Valentino, casino night, give away a trip to Vegas. It shows everybody kind of the influence we have. Yet it's also a culture builder, too, because people are like, dang, this is what we're a part of. Like, we brought 1,500 people that are here for our organization. Like, and then everyone's leaving there talking about it the next day. Like, it's, and the year before, we had 112. And we're going to continue to grow that. So those are things that are part of culture building too, is the events that we throw.
So like you've always been like a popular dude in the real estate and the parties. Do you think that's like been a reason to your success in real estate? Like, from the party scene and all that, or?
I think that it's helped. I don't think it's the reason. I think your character is the reason.
Yeah.
I think, you could be popular and not be successful in certain things.
That's true.
Because I know a lot of people that know a lot of people that know a lot of people and still stay in the bar every night.
Yeah.
And they don't do it. They're around the same thing, doing the same. I could go to the club today and remember 3 years ago and see the same exact people.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And they're popular. They know a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're just not utilizing the gifts for the right purpose. They're connectors and not connecting the right things.
There you go. So you did a good job at that. Like that was a flawless right there.
I was blessed on the steps. I didn't take the elevator.
Yeah.
I was not an overnight success. You know, it took 20 years to be able to build the relationships and everything that we have today. And from there we're still building. You know, we're not stopping. Still learning. Still growing.
Yeah.
There's things that happen every day that are out of my control, or there's things that happen every day that I'm like, wow, that just happened. I need to shift or pivot. And it's how you let things affect you too, because there's no such thing as a bad day. There's just bad moments, and it's how you let a moment affect you on how your day is gonna go. And when a moment happens and something happens, you're like, you know what? If that's not gonna matter in 5 years, that shouldn't matter in 5 minutes. And you got to have that light switch off, on. And a lot of things, when things happen to people, it's kind of like a hot iron. It's plugged in, you unplug it, that iron's still hot for a while. You got to be the light switch. You can't be that iron, because you got to learn to say, okay, that happened. It ain't gonna matter in 5 years. I got to go. Keep it moving, because people feel that energy. Yeah. People feel when you're down. People feel that.
Yeah.
So if you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna take the punches. I'm gonna survive. I'm never a victim. I'm victorious, and I'm victorious no matter what hits me.
I like that. I like that. So like that's like a championship mentality. Well, what does the word champion mean to you?
Champion is being fulfilled. Fulfilled. So fulfillment is a champion, I feel, because you could be a champion. You think of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
He could be considered a champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he fulfilled?
The best at what he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't fulfillment is an art that people don't dive into for themselves. You know, they might be a champion in the world and say, oh, you know, I'm this and that. Yeah, you don't know where their mental state is.
Yeah. And
when your mental state is right and you're being who you can be in this world, that's when you're a champion, because you're actually fulfilled.
That's deep. And you know what? I was just talking to Albert about this earlier on our vlog. So to me, because I was talking about like to me, I have like 5 pillars of my life that I try to focus on, right? So I got the number one that I got focused on is my mental health.
Yeah.
Because if that's in the optimal, your life's gonna run perfect, because everything goes off of your mind, the way you feel. And then second is health, your physical health, because if you're sick, doesn't nothing else matter.
Correct.
Right? And then what else did we talk about? We kept going, but that's in the vlog. Y'all can check out the vlog if y'all want. It's gonna be it's gonna load before this podcast. It's the day in the life.
That reminds me of one thing that Warren Buffett said. Warren Buffett said, if I had the opportunity that we sat down and I said, hey, JR, you can have any car you want. Pick it. Pick any car you want in this world. There's only one caveat. This is the only car you're going to have for the rest of your life. Man, what are you going to do with that car? You're going to take care of it each and every day, right? Make the oil change. Make sure the tires are right.
Yeah.
This is the only body that we're going to have for our life. And do we take care of it? Do we put the right fuel inside of it? Are we doing what we should be doing to make sure that this gets through the life cycle that we could possibly live?
Optimal health.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know which car I would get, but I know I like that. I like that. You take care of it. That's your only one.
That's the only one you're ever going to get.
That is our body. But man, I heard Warren Buffett eats like McDonald's every day and drinks a Coke. But hey, he's a billionaire now. Yeah. He's looking good. So, but I get it.
He made it past most.
He made it past most.
His age is good. He might know something about McDonald's we don't.
Exactly. Well, I know he makes billions off it. That's one thing I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's true, man. Because I like what you said about like what was that actor's name?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Because like to the world, he's a champion, right? Like he was the best comedian, actor at his time.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he had significance.
Right.
He walked in a room, he was significant. People loved him. People loved him no matter where he was. People smiled when they saw him. People saw him on TV. They're like, man, I'm going to see that new movie. Robin Williams is in it.
Yeah.
Yet, did he smile at himself? The biggest costume in this world is a smile. And people hide behind smiles each and every day. So you got to be able to dive in deep and know what's behind that smile with that person. And that's why, love wins.
Yeah.
Fear doesn't win. Love wins. And when you have love for people and you have gratitude for people and you have grace for people, the world is a different world.
Yeah, that's deep, man. Shout out to mental health, guys. Make sure if y'all are going through things, don't fake it. Seek help or whatever, because that Robin, whatever, because that happens all the time.
I think people think like seeing a therapist, they see a stigma with that or something's wrong with that.
Yeah.
A therapist is just like a life coach.
Yeah.
It's okay to see a therapist. It's okay to do those things.
Yeah.
It's an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta be right.
Do you do anything to keep your mental health sharp? Is there anything? What are some of the things you do?
I see a therapist.
I
I go to a therapist. Even when things are right, I still have to talk to somebody just to process things.
Yeah.
Something you got to process. So I have business coaches. I have financial coaches. I have therapists. And then, there's things that I go through that I just need to understand.
Yeah.
And I have blind spots. So we all have blind spots. And you have people that are going to be able to say, okay, this might be happening because of this, and this is how you can get through this. And it's like, okay, cool.
Somebody else can see something you can't from a different perspective. And that's one thing that I've in all my podcasts I've done, and just people I study, they all have mentors or therapists or people they can speak to about certain aspects of life to help them elevate, because life's hard. Everybody goes through things. And I do a lot of meditating, just to understand what I'm going through and all that, and to fix things myself. But I have mentors. I have for people to help me get to the next level all the time. So, but that's one thing that I've seen that all successful people have in common.
Yeah, and you gotta play hard. You gotta play hard, and playing hard is actually having those people in your life. Because if you play hard now, life will be easy later. If you play easy now, life is gonna be harder later.
That's sense.
A decision you have to make.
Yeah. So, man, let's start wrapping it up, because I know you got a place to be. Have we already hit close to an hour? We passed an hour? Dang, it goes by fast when you're having fun. So for the Malouff Group, man, what are some of your goals in the near future? Where are y'all trying to hit?
Continuing to build our people. We have a structure that we're coming out at the end of the year that's gonna, help elevate us. Continue with that end. Continue to build our media team. Continue to build our short-term rental management. Continue to build the avenues, the businesses outside of the business that we're a part of. And to continue to build our people. So, making sure that they can live a life worth living, get to a place where they have a residual income where they choose to work, they don't have to work, and, investing with them. So, that's what it's about.
Nice. So you're actually giving them incentives to make residual income with you? Or?
They have the opportunity, when they continue to make the money, it's figuring out how to invest in that money. What are we going to do to invest? So that way, 5 to 10 years from now, you're not still that agent. You have $10,000 a month coming in passive.
Yeah.
Where you choose to come to the office. You don't have to come because that's your number. Yeah, that's the number you needed.
So you're investing with them, or opportunities and properties or stuff like that?
Yeah. If the investment's there and they want to invest with me, I'll invest with them.
Oh, that's cool. So that's I was trying to kind of think of something like that for my people too, because all we do is investments, and they tell me sometimes, hey, let's go in on a flip, or let's go in on a this or that. But I was just kind of thinking, as far as a single family rental, I don't think the pie's big enough. We got to get a little small apartment or something.
Multi-families where the better plays are.
All right.
And land. Lots of. You just hold on to them.
Yeah.
Say you got a $20,000 lot in the west side. You and one other person go in $10,000 each. Just hold on to it.
You like to buy a lot of lots?
I like lots.
Yeah, I buy lots too. So, man, last question. What does the word clutch mean to you?
Clutch? We got it. Clutch. We're locked in.
All right.
What does it mean to you?
So to me, it's just the game winner. It's the person that handles the pressure. It's the person that you want on your team, the one that's gonna win the game.
Got it.
So that's what that means to me. So man, shout out guys, shout out to Malouff for coming on the podcast. I think he dropped a lot of gems, a lot of diamonds. Where can they find you at?
Instagram Malouff, business Malouff International Group. Facebook is at capacity. They can add our business page, Malouff International Group, and then YouTube, Malouff International Group.
All right, shout out to Malouff, guys. If y'all got a lot of value from this, please make sure and subscribe, share with your friends so we can spread this message to as many people as possible. I hope y'all like this one, guys. You know where you can find us. Instagram and TikTok at JR Clutch, and on YouTube, Facebook, everything JR Clutch. All right, so we're going to continue to bring you more and more guests just like this so you can continue to elevate and become the person you want to be. So until the next one, guys, we'll see y'all. Stay clutch.
Let's get it.